So I don't think we need as broad a title as you have given, that is to say, rethinking reservations. That would be a very broad title for the kind of discussion that we wish to have here, which is rightly so focused on the recent decision of the Karnataka government to withdraw the reservation of 4% that had been given to the Muslim community under the SEBC, the socially and educationally backward groups, or that kind of rationale for reservation, which is operative in many states and also at the center. The first point to note is that when it comes to our constitution, its relationship to caste is very complicated. On the one hand, identities like caste and religion are supposed to not matter. And on the other hand, in particular contexts, they do matter. So it is quite true that in one sense, the Constitution forbids giving reservation on the basis of religion alone. It is also true that most kinds of reservation that are given, with the special exception of the reservation for the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes, which was the very earliest type of reservation given under the new constitution, even caste is not supposed to be a category for reservation. So what are called the other backward classes, please note that it is not castes, it is classes. So a kind of compromise has been worked out in the language of the law to include groups which are in practice castes, but which are legally, for the purposes of the Constitution, are treated as members of a group or of a larger category, for which the qualification is being socially and educationally backward. So it is under this category that the Muslims of Karnataka, as in many other states as well, got reservation under the broader rubric of other backward classes. So therefore, to say that Muslims in Karnataka had been given reservation on religious grounds is clearly wrong, because that, had it been the case that reservation was given on religious grounds, this would have been struck down long ago. In one sense, it can also be said that OBC reservation in general is not given on caste grounds either. But as I said, our society has had a long struggle with how to deal with caste, and the Constitution has many compromises, some legal workarounds for the problem that on the one hand, the Constitution does not recognize caste, and on the other hand, it is compelled to under certain circumstances. So coming to this particular decision, can people mute themselves, please? Coming to this particular decision, I think it is quite fair to say, given what has been happening in Karnataka recently, and given that the elections are close, Karnataka state assembly elections are very close, it is fair to say that this has been done. This is an electoral move. That is to say, it is a move designed to win more votes, both by taking away something from the Muslim community and by giving it to transferring that reservation or distributing that reservation of 4% between the Lingayat and the Vakkaliga communities, which are two of the largest communities in the state, and with whom the BJP government is in particular trying to win them over for electoral reasons. To say this, I think, is to state the obvious. There is nothing very hidden or very complicated about this. So, first of all, taking this away is, in my opinion, should not stand the scrutiny of the courts. But given the way the courts have been in the recent past, there is some doubt is cast on how this will work out in the courts. Secondly, had this not been transferred, let us suppose for a minute that the government suddenly woke up and realized that, oh, we made a mistake, we have given a reservation on religious grounds, then you can understand based on that, that is, if you accept that logic, you can understand based on that, the taking away of the reservation from a group for whom a mistake has been made. That is, something has been given, wrongly given. But why transfer it to particular other groups? There is no rationale for that. Since both have been done, this adds credence to the view that this was done with political motives, or rather electoral motives, where in Karnataka today, there is an attempt to create an atmosphere where taking things away from the Muslim community, harming the interests of the Muslim community in any way, is seen as electorally beneficial by many parties. And at the same time, you are also transferring this to communities that you are trying to persuade to vote for you in larger numbers, communities about whom you are nervous as to whether they will vote for you or not. So the combination of both of these is happening. And as has already been pointed out in the introduction to this session, there have been similar other measures like the hijab, ban of hijab and other statements made by leaders, and the general atmosphere that is being created across the state, and for that matter, across the country, that makes it very easy for people to believe that this is a targeting of a particular community and has no rational, legal, or other basis. So from my point of view as an academic who studies these things, this is a very simple matter. It is, there is nothing complicated about it. And it needs to be protested by every fair-minded Indian. And we need to send a message to governments, not only in Karnataka, but in other states and to the center as well, that this kind of blatantly partisan attempts to undermine what has been a carefully worked out system are going to damage the social fabric of the nation. Thank you. I'll be happy to take questions if there are any, but this is what I have to say. Essentially, this is a very simple issue.